Hey y'all,
Hey y'all.
What's up? This is El Presidente.
this is
You
your boy, gospel icon, my Harold Peoples Jr.
It's Lady, also known as Leah, and you're now watching.
And you're listening to Speaking Plain
in
English.
the speaking plain English with your host Roberta on
Your beautiful host, Roberta Johnson.
With my homegirl, Roberta, on Praise.fm.
On Praise FM.
on Praise FM.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Speaking Plain English. Happy Saturday. I am your host, Roberta, and I am so excited about this topic and this guest today. Before we get into any of that, I'm going to ask you all to do all of the media stuff, the liking and the sharing and the subscribing. First of all, thank those of you who are here. Welcome to our YouTube audience. Welcome to Instagram. Welcome to Praise FM. Welcome to Facebook. Welcome. Did I forget anybody? Facebook, Praise FM, YouTube, Instagram. Yep, got them all. All right. So, guys, those of you who know me, the two things that I love the most, the absolute most, besides Jesus, is music and food. Today, we are going to get into music, and I'm excited. I am so excited. So before we even start and get into, I introduce our guest, I'm going to do the announcements real quick. As you guys know, and in case you don't, I do. Oh, I'm sorry. Make sure, please say hello and comment. Leave your comments and things. Because I do, we do like feedback. I do like to know that you're here. I want to shout you out and all of those wonderful things. Also, if you are celebrating anyone for a birthday, Earth Entry Anniversary, as I call them, and you have a business that you're about to start. If you are a business owner or an author or an artist, or you have an event coming up, or just want to shout somebody out and you want to make it nice and big and special and you want it on the show, I want you to leave me a comment or leave me a DM. Let me know so that we can do it up big for you. Like I said, as far as the Earth Entry Anniversaries go, I'm working on something special. Specifically for birthdays, but I want to do that for all kinds of announcements and things as well. And speaking of which, I wanted to shout out my nephew Judah Johnson, who's he's okay. I think I'm done. So I'm excited just to shout my nephew out happy Earth Entry Anniversary. Judah, listen, since we're on the topic of music today, I just want you guys to know that he's a drummer. He's playing keys as well, and he's a producer. And let me tell you, or he's working on tracks. Hey, mama, the stuff that I've been hearing my nephew work on, I mean, because he comes out of the loins of my brother, it makes perfect sense. And so those of you who we're gonna have my brother on at some point as well. So that's that happy Earth Entry Anniversary to my nephew Judah. And without further ado, I'm going to read the bio of our guest, whose name is Eric, also known as Big E Jones, who is the owner of Caesar Boys Entertainment, which was established in 1998 in Atlanta, Georgia. He calls it CBE. Caesar Boys Entertainment is based out of Hammond, LA, and Louisiana. I'm sorry, Hammond, Louisiana, and has an operating staff which consists of 3 individuals. The reason why he started CBE was to be able to showcase talent from his home state of Louisiana. He stated his music career back. He started his music career back in 1994 when he moved to Atlanta, Georgia, which is, we always do that for some reason or another. Facebook is frozen. I don't know what's going on, but I think we're good. We're good now. Good. Fantastic. All right. So yeah, so this is how he got started. So he was walking through Gwinnett Place Mall and he overheard these guys singing, and a man said, they said, that, and they were really, really good. They could blow. So he walked up and introduced himself and stated that he was a singer. Let's see if we can get him to sing a couple of bars while we So yeah, they asked him to sing, and once he completed singing the song, he was asked to join their group, and they called themselves Focus. As a member of Focus, they performed in various clubs and venues. And one day they were passing by an office building and saw that these limousines had pulled around back and wanted to see what was going on, being nosy as we tend to be. But what they saw was what they would like to call the beginning of their future. And they met a guy by the name of Bazille, King George Beale. He asked if they were lost, and they said no, we're a singing group, and that it was a studio, and that's when they stated, when he let them know that this was it was the studio of King George Productions. So they sang for him, and he was floored and offered them a recording deal on the spot. And he was so happy about it, and they signed the papers and began to record. The only issue is that the album never dropped, which is when Big E pretty much saw and got a good taste of what the music industry was about. So he knew at that moment that he wanted to start his own label so that he can teach young artists how to survive and succeed in the music industry, which is so necessary, honestly. He's worked with a lot of local talent in Atlanta. He was formerly employed by Father MC. He's worked with people such as Jeffrey Collins, former music executive with Sony Records, who is now the owner of Famous Records, Paul Klein, the owner of Empire Music Works, Ron Lopez, who is the brother of Lisa Left Eye Lopez, rest in peace to her, from TLC. And also Eric Arnold, owners of Black House Production, Don Medina, who's the owner of Mad Rough Productions, and Kevin Washington, formerly known as formerly of the production team Three Boys from Newark, and artists such as JT Money, Lazy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony, Lil Zane, Adasia Benz, and so many others. The list goes on and on. Currently, he's employed by A&P Records, where he serves as an assistant to Regina Shower Gordon and road manager to gospel recording artist Titus Showers. He also has a management company called Big E Management Group with 3 artists under his umbrella, which are Joel Jones and 3MC, Danielle Stevens, and also consulting for Joanna Hale McGill. And last but not least, his morning radio show called Big E and Friends in the Morning with his co-host, Nikki B, Shauna, who they call Shanana, which is my big sister. We'll talk about how they're always pronouncing her name incorrectly, but in order to, clean it up, they call it Shanana, which is cool with me. And the producer of Praise FM, Dr. Lady Rain. So without further ado, I want you guys to put your hands together and welcome to the stage, Eric Big E Jones. We cannot hear you.
What's up, everybody? What's going on? I'm in the building. You heard me. And the New thing just came out.
I'm sorry. It's morning over where you are because you are in
Hammond, Louisiana. I'm in the dirty. You heard me?
In the building. Sounded like Juvenile.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, my goodness. It is so good to have you here.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm glad to be here.
We have some stuff to discuss. So before we get into our actual topic, first of all, thank you. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to sit and talk with us. Because like I mentioned, music it's a love of mine.
Right.
And one thing that I want to do as far part of this show is to make sure that we bring out all different types of topics and things. And I want to be able to find solutions because music is kind of hurting right now. A little something. If
Music is hilarious right now.
in
You
my
know.
opinion. So before we jump into that, with that extensive bio,
Yes.
is there anything that we missed about you?
Well, yeah, I am a loving father, a loving husband sometimes, and
Oh,
what I'm saying is, sometimes, all relationship have their ups and downs, but I love my wife, you know what I'm saying? So, that's why I say sometimes I could be a handful. So that's why I say sometimes a loving husband, you know. But yeah. So I'm a brother, and an uncle. So, and first and foremost, I'm a child of God. First and
yes,
foremost.
it.
So,
Yes, sir. Yes,
yep,
sir.
I'm not a PK, but I'm a child of God.
That's
I know
okay.
you a PK.
I am born and raised Church of God in Christ. Well, I'm not Church of God in Christ anymore, but
Mm.
yes, at least all of my life. At least
Yeah,
all of my life.
yeah. I've had some opportunities to embrace some Kojic churches. Went to 2 years ago. I think I was at the convention in Memphis about 2 years
Okay.
ago. Yeah, Titus had to perform at the opening night. I think it was. We was in Memphis. Um, yep. So it was great. It was great. It was some number of artists out there. Titus Showers, Jai Miles from the Canton Spirituals, Kiara Hicks, and the list goes on and on. But it was a great event, man. I mean, powerful event, very
Nice. Nice.
powerful event. So yeah,
Was it
yep.
one of those musicals?
Yeah. I think it was the opening night of the convention or what y'all
Midnight
call it,
musical?
convocation. What you say, Roberta? I didn't hear
Was
you.
it a midnight musical? Because I know that they
No, no,
have
no.
those.
No, it wasn't at midnight. I can't remember, but oh man, I can't remember. I thought it was the opening night of the Kojic, which I call it, convocation.
Convocation. Hmm.
Yeah, I think it was the opening night. It was a musical, so it wasn't at midnight though. I can tell you, it wasn't at midnight.
Okay. I'm
So
not sure
yeah,
how it's run now. It's because they have Kojic has like the convocation is a big, big thing.
yeah,
And I've only been to one, and that's when I was living in Memphis.
yeah. It was man. It was at a beautiful cathedral. I don't know the name of the church and the pastor is escaping me right now, but it was man, it was nice. It
Nice.
was nice.
So
Tracy, yeah, yeah,
awesome.
yep,
So
yep.
while we're here, let's get into it. So first of all, let me now we do see that when you actually started, how you started with the group and everything, but when
Yeah.
did you personally discover your love for music?
Man, I was 3 in church. 'Cause, my mom was a big time gospel singer in our community, our local area. So, we stayed in church up and down the road. We call it up and down the bayou, being from the South. So we would be up and down the bayou traveling from church to church. And she not only was a singer in these different various groups, she also drove the church van. So
Mm,
wherever there was an event that, so we were there. So my mom is actually where it all started, listening to her traveling and so on and so forth. So that's where my love for music started in
So,
church, listening to my mom.
so did they have you up there singing solos and stuff as a kid and whatnot?
You know what? I didn't actually. So I can say I was in the youth choir, a junior choir, we called it. Me and my friend, or my family, Joe Jones, my cousin, that I managed as well. We were like the youngest kids, and we would be at all the workshops, like all the big workshops. We were the smallest of the group, and we would be there in the tenor section singing, and just so we started at a very, very young age when we got into the actual choirs, like the adult choirs. I think Joe may have been 10 and I may have been 12,
Mhm.
but we've been around, and he's a musician as well. He's a gospel recording artist as well. Great project. We're trying to get it moving now. But man, we just loved it. His dad is a pastor, so anytime that old Lincoln would move or wherever that Buick moved, we was in the car. So we had no choice but to love music because it was just in us. His dad was a singer, my mom's a singer, so we were just up and down the road. So that's where the love came from. It's a
Mm.
very early age in the church. In the
So
church.
you pretty much were dunked into it at 3.
at three. At three.
Okay, so listen, so we've again in your bio how you were talking about the different avenues that you've actually the different that you've stepped into as far as music goes. You've been
Mhm.
an artist and on the business side. So give us a little bit of a rundown of what it's like from an artist point of view to be on the creative side of the music industry.
So being from an artist, from the artist standpoint to becoming a creator or somebody, but it's way different. Okay. You only know certain things as an artist. You are only given certain information as an artist.
Mm.
You don't get everything. A lot of people don't know what points, percentage, units. You don't know what a 360 deal is. We don't know none of that stuff. And when you're young and inexperienced, don't know what's going on, and you sign these deals, and then you be like, I didn't sign it. Yes, you did. It wasn't explained to me. So it's way different because at the end of the day, the execs have the upper hand if you're not educated. If you're not educated, they got and if you don't have the right representation, then they have the upper hand. But things have evolved where you don't really have to go to the Sonys and the Universals and all of these. You really don't have to because of this little thing we on right now called the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's changed a lot. But yeah, being an artist, being an exec, the exec have the upper hand if you don't know the business. If you don't take time to learn it or get you somebody around you that knows and understands and that you trust. That's it. That's point blank.
So in other words, you're saying that it's pretty much the politics of it, I guess I want to say, or the
That's the word. That's the word. The
Okay.
politics. That's the word.
Okay.
Politics. It's just like government.
Ooh, Lord, another topic.
It's just like government. So yeah, it's all about politics. It's political.
Hey everyone, thank y'all for jumping on and talking and saying hello. We've got
Hello.
mommy here. We have my cousin Carly. We got my big sis Shauna, aka as y'all call Shanana.
99 the building.
So much for joining in. Listen, we are here with Big E. We are talking about music and all of the things that's a part that it's that goes within it.
Yep.
So, as far as your label or having a music label, what would you say that your goal is?
So
Artist managing, being an artist manager.
So I used to have a label, which was Caesar Boys Entertainment. And quick story, I dissolved the label part of it because of loyalty, respect. A lot of these young artists, because keep in mind, I was on the secular side
Okay.
with that label. A lot of artists, and a lot of people might be listening in, my friends, man, I didn't know. Yeah, I had a label. Yes. You can go and Google it and you'll see the projects I put out. But a lot of the artists today, there's no loyalty. What is a contract? Well, I don't care about that. I had a gentleman that I signed and put a lot of money behind, and not only was he signed to the label, but he was also under our management umbrella. And he would just do his own thing without notifying the label, without notifying the management company, letting us know what are you doing. So you just out jumping from studio to studio and just giving up material and not going through the proper channels, because that still has to be cleared through us. Remember, you're signed to me two ways. You're signed to me as a label. You have a label deal and you have a management deal.
So what are the difference? What's the difference between the two?
The label, I'm the record company.
Mm-hmm.
You signed to me as an artist under the record company. But then also for representation, you're signed to me under the management label to be able to go out and make the deal, broker the deals, whatever. Makes what the manager does. So basically, but you're moving what we call recklessly, because you're not advising nobody over here of the moves you're making. So therefore, you're going over here to, let's say, there's a studio, used to be a studio here called Dead Game. you'll go to Dead Game and you'll record with Dead Game, and you giving them material that technically belongs here. You did not get a clearance from us to go over and do that. So technically, Dead Game can't use that.
So let me ask you this, because because now Dead Game, is that a different studio? So is it that you
Yeah, it's
have
a whole different company.
studios that you use? Like,
So this
our
is a
labels
whole.
are loyal to specific studios, and you can only stick to these.
Nah, I use whatever studio I want to use. If I use in Atlanta, I use several studios. You know, a studio it basically work for hire. I go there, pay the money, I use the studio. They don't own none of my material. I
Okay.
paid for it. But Dead Game was a studio / record company. So Kevin Gates, I don't know if you ever heard of Kevin Gates. Kevin Gates was a part of Dead Game, Breadwinners and all that stuff, BWA, whatever. They are labeled as well as a studio.
Okay.
So you're going into a studio and a label,
A different
bringing
label.
material that's rightfully belongs here under this contractual agreement we have. So if Dead Game tried to put, you know what, and now hindsight is 2020. If I'd have thought about it and been like, oh yeah, go ahead on, you good, I would have got paid today. I didn't clear it. We didn't clear it.
Wow.
But I was like, nah, bro. So at the end of the day, what I did was I just for me and my freedom, because I was in them streets back then, my freedom, I decided to just dissolve the agreement, let him go about his business. And guess what? See, the Lord don't sleep.
Never.
To this day, I was the last project that he ever put out. He has not put out another record since. Now, when I released him from working relationship, but he was still contractually tied to me for 5 years.
Oh.
So whatever you did, I still owned.
Wow.
So, but it's the contract is over. But he's now trying to do comedy. He went from a rapper to comedy now, which is nothing wrong because Country Wayne was a rapper now in comedy. So,
Right.
so there's nothing wrong with it. But I just say the Lord doesn't sleep because he knew he was moving reckless. If say touch not thy anointed one. Well,
Okay.
even though I was on that side, I'm still a child of God. And I was fair.
Would you consider starting the label back up?
No. Well, you know what, Roberta? Honestly, I would. Let me tell you why. Because now things are much easier. You don't need the universals and all them to you don't need that. Everything is streaming. Everything is DSPs.
Yeah.
Everything is what you don't need all that no more. All you need to do is have you a good team that knows how to go and grind. You need to have somebody that works your social media because everything is social media driven. Your YouTube, your TikToks, your snaps, your whatever, Facebook, IG, everything is social media driven now. Everything. And that's what I try to tell. Like I said, I work with people that don't know the knowledge that I have and what I've done in my career. And to me, I really don't care if you believe or know what I've done. You know, I've been in the room, Roberta, with some major players. You know, I didn't just start getting in the room since I've been on the gospel side. I've sat at the tables with Father MC when he was brokering a deal with Paul Klein at Empire Music Works in Ventura, California, in the Cheesecake Factory, in a private room. I've seen these deals broker. I brokered deals with him. You know what I'm saying? So I've been in on Peachtree Street in Left Eye's office, God rest her soul, but to sign a contract with her.
Wow.
I've been with Vince Phillips that started BME with Lil Jon and Emperor Cersei. I've been in that office. So with another artist, I was working on a deal for myself with my label at the time, Caesar Boys in Atlanta. So I've been in these buildings. I've been at these tables. I've been in these radio stations. I've sat down with these PDs and so on and so forth. So what I'm saying is I would consider doing it again because it's much easier. But it all depends on you and your drive and how you want to get it. You know, you have to have your marketing. You have to have your marketing. You have to have your social media person. You have to have this. You have to have all that, because if you're doing it on your own, the tools are there, but you have to sow into yourself.
Yes, it.
You got to be driven. You can't. I can't sit back and wait for Roberta to decide. I need to make that move, and I need to know what's the best course of action to take. Things have changed as far as music tremendously. Tremendous.
Going to get into that in a minute. We're going to take a quick break real fast. And we actually have a question on the table. So once we come back, we're going to just, we'll be back in just a minute. And then we're going to get into that question. And then we're going to keep this going.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
This is the golden mic, everybody.
Let's go. Sorry.
I love you, Jesus. I worship and adore you.
Ready and I'm ready. Yeah.
Come over here.
I'm here. You.
Everybody went on mic.
Have you ever wanted to host your own inspirational radio show? Have you been called to inspire and spread God's word? Please contact Alicia Rain for more info.
All right, folks, we are back again. Once again, we are here with Big E.
Yo.
E. Jones.
Yes, ma'am.
Listen, he is giving us some nuggets. You hear me? Some nuggets. So let's go to it. We have a question that's here by Sharice. She says that she was once told that there is between the industry, there's a difference between the industry and the ministry. Can you elaborate a little bit on that statement?
I saw that question, man. I'm like, man, they asked me that question, God. I saw that question. I'm like, oh my God. So, Sharice, I'm going to tell you my take on it. There is a difference between industry and ministry. Everybody that's in ministry or everybody that's in the industry is not ministry. Okay.
We're even talking specifically gospel.
Specifically gospel. A lot of the people that claim they're in ministry in the industry don't put the two together. You know what I'm saying? It's not I'm trying to be nice, Lord Jesus. I'm trying to be nice.
So we keep it all the way real on Speaking Plain. That's why we call Speaking Plain English, because we keep it all the way a buck.
A lot of people in the industry have taken ministry and God out of the business. Everything is money driven. Okay. And I might get blackballed or something for this, but ministry has been out of the industry as far as it relates to gospel music in some way, shape, form, or fashion. I've seen and been in some rooms with some things since I've returned back to gospel that I totally disagree with. It's not about radio, for one, is to me, radio is slowly dying, in my opinion, because it's so easy now to get your things out there without going through, like they said, radio, terrestrial, or whatever. You can go through all your playlists, that's DSPs and all that stuff, your Spotify's, your Tidal, and all that stuff. Playlist placements. There's something in radio that should not be going on, but it happens. I don't want to say too much, but there's things in radio that should not be happening, but it does happen. But to answer the question, there is a difference between ministry and the industry. And until we get back to ministry, the industry will steady take a hit, will steady decline. The industry of gospel music.
Right.
It will steady take a decline. Look at what's going on. Look at your new music out now. Look at your music videos out now. Listen to your sound of certain music. Doesn't it sound, a lot of it's starting to sound real worldly?
Now let me ask you about that. because what do you mean specifically by that? Because this is my take on the sound. And again, right at this particular point, we're talking specifically gospel music, and I'm going to put quotations on the gospel music because there's so many different kinds, or I'll put it like this: Christ-centered music.
Mhm,
I'll put
mhm.
it like that because
Gotcha.
there's so many. There's gospel, which is a genre in itself, and then there's CCM. There's
Yeah.
all of these other genres within the genre of Christ. I'll just put Christ-centered music. I'll put it like that.
Mhm.
So my thing is, I believe that there is a place for everything,
Right.
and
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
believe that even the sound of some people like certain sounds. You know what I mean? Some people like to, they have a preference for a specific kind of sound. So
Mhm.
something more soulful, where some may like more of a rockish, or some may even like more of an operatic. Some may like more bluesy. You know what I mean? Like some may
Yeah.
like more jazz.
Gotcha.
So with that, with having a preference of the style and the genre of music that you like, I believe that it can still be Christ centered. So what do you mean exactly when you say that it doesn't um like it doesn't sound like gospel? I'll put it
So
like
so let me clear that up right quick because I don't want people to get the wrong impression about what I'm saying. I love Pastor Mike. I love his music. I love Kurt, you know, to a degree. I'm gonna be honest. Um, what I mean by it is some music that's out, like I don't call them names, but some music, like I've seen some videos. Okay, it looks like a video I used to look at late night on BET Soul after dark. You know what I'm saying?
that.
Like it's it's not. I don't think it's Christ centered.
Okay.
It's more. It's right. It's on that fence of Christ centered and secular. I think it's right there. It's like just a little nudge to the left, and
Hmm.
it's all the way. It just. I just feel like we forgetting about what brought us to this point, like the Thomas Darcy's and all that stuff. We can always redo things and do it in decent and order, but let's not go overboard with it.
There we
But
go.
I know we got young people. They have to. What's the expression? You gonna help me, PK? Reach them where they are, or
Meet them where they are.
meet them where they are. I understand that. I'm not one of these old fogey type uh Christians. You know what I'm saying? I'm with change. I'm with things evolving, but I see some things that's a little bit on that fence, man. Like, when you up there Dougie and all, okay, I know you're trying to, and then you take it too far, you know what I'm saying? Like some things you gotta remember, So that's just my thing. I love to get crunk but when John P. Key came out back in the day, I used to be in that thing like I was in a nightclub because I love me some John P. Key. When Show Up and all that came out, the album Show Up and all that, man, and Watch Me and all that. I'm just saying, like I was crunk for Christ, you know. But
Brought me back to gospel skate nights. That's
so
skate.
but I just feel like we gotta let's just not with change, let's not forget about. And I tell people at my church all the time, and I'm sorry, at my church, we have a lot of older members. We also have a lot of young members. So in the morning, I do the sound. I'm the sound technician, media guy in my church. So I always try to play music before church start for the older members because I think we tend to forget about those people sitting to the left side of the church.
Ah.
But the music that we're singing and worshiping with, they're not familiar with that. So what I do is I give them for that first hour while they're coming in waiting for Sunday school or whatever. I play all of their music, all of the stuff that they remember. Some we call it the quartet music they like, and some of the Albertina Walkers and the Dorothy Norwoods and Shirley Caesar. I play that music for them, so we don't forget about them.
Right. Right.
And some of the young people in church be like, "Can you change that?" No.
No.
No, because we cannot forget about them.
Absolutely.
And that's
I
what
agree.
I'm saying, you know, and we tend to want to just jump and prance and dance, and we can't forget about the foundation that's still sitting over there.
That's
You know.
really interesting that you mentioned that, because I'm gonna say this, and as you already, you know, we've already established, I'm PK, born and raised in church, and a lot of the songs that they used to sing in church, well, I'll put it like this: there are some that were of that style
Mhm.
that to this day, when I think about it, I'm like, well, first of all, why? This isn't even praise and worship, so, or this isn't you know, glorifying God at all. So how in the world, why are we even, you know, why would they sing this? But then there are others that, as I've gotten older, I'm like, oh, I understand what they mean now. Like, what is that? Jesus, Jesus, how I trust you.
Mhm,
That
mhm,
song.
mhm, mhm.
When I actually think about all the lyrics to that, I'm like, man, I get it. I get it. So
The
it's very
message,
important, huh?
in
Right,
those words.
exactly. That's the point of it all. There is a certain, you know, saturation of anointing
Mhm.
in those kind of songs that we don't want to leave and we don't want to forget about. And at the same time, in the music that we you know, that we have now, I think it's motive. I think that's the whole point. It's about the motive, and it's about what your purpose is. Are you doing this for, and goes for, honestly, this is for all genres. I'm not even just
Mhm,
talking gospel
mhm,
anymore.
mhm.
When you forget your purpose for, you know, for creating, when you leave that and just go towards a whole thing of well, I want to, you know, I want a chart topper, or I want something, you know, that's going to make me, that's going to be a hit, that's going to make, you know what I'm saying? When you leave that, when you forget what the point of it all, when you forget the love of it, when you forget, first of all, the gift giver, the God that gave you the gift, and, you know, even again, like even in other genres, because there, let me tell you, there are some and I honestly, I think that gospel sound is missing in music, period. When I tell you, there are artists that may not sing, and we're going to get into that too. Matter of fact, no, we'll go there. There are artists that are not specifically labeled as gospel, but when they sing, you feel the power of God.
Fantasia.
Fantasia is one of them.
Fantasia.
Fantasia is one of them.
Yep.
Let It Be
Jennifer
is one of
Hudson.
them.
Jennifer Hudson. Let
Say it
us
again.
see. Jennifer Hudson.
Jennifer Hudson.
Mm.
Travis Malloy.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't care what that man sing.
Yep. Yep.
I don't care what in the world comes out of that man's mouth. It is
Mary had a
good
little
in
lamb.
oil, extra virgin olive oily. You hear me?
Jasmine Sullivan,
Jasmine
CB White.
Sullivan. Yes.
Jasmine Sullivan.
So I'm like, at the end of the day, I honestly think that, and that was another question that I wanted to ask you. I guess we can segue into that.
Mhm.
What would you say, or what is your take? I'll put it like this, on artists that are, you know, that are Christians, that are, you know, that do love God and love Christ, that don't necessarily want to stick with the gospel, with the gospel genre. I'll put it like that.
I really don't have a problem with it because I look at basically whatever floats their boat, long as they don't forget where they come from, long as they don't forget their foundation. You know, that's my thing. Like I love Fantasia to death, and Fantasia ain't forgot where she came from. You know, that girl could take a secular song and take it to church on it, like you just said. You know what I'm saying? So I think as long as you don't forget where you come from, some people in the chats was just saying, you know, mentioning that let me go back to it. That's it. There are some songs out there, you know, she was saying about a prominent bishop is singing on the song, and it's a Michael Jackson cut. So she was just saying, like, how am I supposed to hear Jesus in that? I agree, because if I know that's a Mike song, then I'm thinking about Mike singing that song. It's is hard, because I'm hearing Mike. You know what I'm saying? Like for real,
I hear you.
I'm hearing Mike. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially if it's a song I like that Mike did. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be hard. But I just feel like, to answer your question, Roberta, as long as you don't forget where you come from, because some things it may be a part of the job. I still have to provide. This is what's paying my bills. I love the Lord, and I know He loved me, but this is where I'm paying for, my living, maybe gospel wasn't footing the bills like secular is. I don't know. I'm just, I think that whatever you're doing in secular and getting paid over here, you probably can still do it over here if you put forth more effort. But because it's the secular, the audience is way bigger. We know the audience is way bigger over here. I probably can get it quicker on this side. So that's, I don't know.
I'll tell you what I think about it. And matter of fact, I'm going to go back to Sharice's comment in a second, and what we just talked about music that I guess is taken from secular artists and being inputted into. James Cleveland did it
all the time.
James Cleveland, he took Gladys Knight's song, the best thing that's ever happened. He took Jesus is the best thing that ever happened. Gladys Knight. Yep. Okay, so, and I'm not even gonna lie. Like there are some songs that are from some from R&B artists that honestly they take me in. Like for example, and y'all gonna cut my head off for this one. Beyonce has a song called "Flaws and All." Mm-hmm. I don't know what, for whatever reason or another, that if you change one lyric, one word in that song, that could easily be a gospel song. And in a nutshell, like it does something to me every time. Mm-hmm. Every time. Yes, I understand where she's talking about, how in spite of everything, that she, all of her flaws and everything, that her man still loves her. I say, in spite of all the flaws that, and everything, like every single last lyric except one mm-hmm. in the mm-hmm. whole song. Mm-hmm. And that's honestly, that's how I feel about that. And there's another, like we used to even do that just as kids, we used to change songs and
all the time. I used to take a secular song and make them gospel songs as a kid.
All the time. Yes. It was either turned into a gospel song or a song about food. Every time.
Shanana and I do it all the time. Shanana and I do it all the time. We could be sitting on the phone. Yes, we could be sitting on the phone talking, and me and her just come. We do this. We come up with like a gospel song out of some secular songs. Like we do it all the time. All the time.
And they record it. So, I mean, there are some that actually, and that's the difference right there. Like, I feel like when God is in you, when you remember where you come from, when you put God as the head, and let's just be straight up and honest. Not everybody is meant to go and be in the gospel world.
No.
There are some people who that's going to be their audience.
Yeah.
That's going to be their reach because some people are not going to, my thing is, I'm a big advocate for getting back to the heart of Christ. My thing is, regardless of what you're doing, as long as you are representing God, and just because you are not necessarily singing a song with Jesus' name in it, because let's be honest, there are some songs with Jesus' name in it that he ain't got nothing to do with.
Mm-hmm.
And your motive is correct. Your motive is right. And it's something like be God led, be spirit led, be Christ led in all you do. Who's to say that God will not, lead you to write a song that doesn't necessarily call his name out all the time?
Right. You just said something like just giving reverence to God. I've been to several concerts where I hear giving honor to God. Thank you, Jesus. You're giving reverence to him. And this is a whole blues concert. Giving all praise and honor to God. You giving reverence to him. I'm cool with that. because you're not leaving him out of the equation. You know what I'm
That's it.
saying? You're not leaving him out the equation at all. You're giving reverence to him because you know
Exactly.
without him you can't do this. And I admire that, man. I'm Country Wayne. I think me and my wife went to a Country Wayne concert in Baton Rouge, man. And he's always Jesus popping, you know what I'm saying? He always giving reverence. Even his skits are crazy, it shows like the womanizing thing going on, but we know it's all we know it's all skits, but
Mhm.
he always give reverence to God. You know what I'm saying? He don't do no cussing in his skits. He don't do none of that stuff. He always giving reverence to God. So I just feel like you can still do things and still walk in that path and still walk with God and still be here. That's the way I feel. I'm a realist. I say that because I don't believe in. You remember how the old folks was back in the day? You probably been around it where the older women was very submissive to their husband, and the husband tell you jump and you ain't. I don't believe in that. My wife is
We talked
very
about
educated. She's very self-sufficient. She was together when I met her. Ain't no such thing as I'm the man, you do what I say do. I don't believe in that. I don't do that.
Ooh, that is a man.
You have
Listen.
your own mind. Okay, I don't believe in that. I do not, and but that's for another show.
Right, that's another topic, boy. That's another topic. and that's not to say, and shout out to your wife for that, and shout out to you for saying that. And that's not to say that you're still not the head.
No,
You know,
right, exactly.
That's not to say. So for those who are like, well, that's that's unbalancing.
Let's clarify that.
That's not to say that you're still not the head. It's just, let me tell you something. Oh, we're going into a whole other topic, but real quick, the difference, the one thing that is really, really that I appreciate is when a husband is so secure in his role that he knows when, okay, you know what, this is what you're good at. Talking to his wife, this is what you're good at, and this is your area of expertise. I'm not that good in that area, so I'm gonna step back and I'm gonna let you do what you do, because at the end of the day, this is a unit, and they're working together. Let's again. That's a whole other episode.
Because I can say a lot about it because I know I give her hell, Roberta, because I'm a spender, and she's a budgeter. You know what I'm saying? So I see I'm good sometimes. I'm not good all the time. When it come to that money and I want something, I ain't good right then and there because I want it. You know what I'm saying? But
that's the balance.
That's the balance. Even though I give her, she got the spreadsheet up here, and I'm like, I don't want to look at that. And then when days come down, and I'm like, well, you didn't tell me that, because remember you didn't want to look at the spreadsheet. So it's always a comeback, and I'm wrong, but anyway.
So let's slap it, because I'm telling you, we can.
Yeah, this is a whole different. This is like a 24-hour plus show, man.
Man, what you said. So let me ask you this. Yes, the spreadsheet. Let me ask this. Do you? And I already know what the answer is, but we're gonna talk about it. What do you see the difference in revenue since music has become more digital?
Yeah, a good and bad.
Okay.
The bad is that the streaming companies they make the money. They make the money. Okay.
Can you get? I want people to hear this and see this and understand, like, how little artists get through streaming. Like, do you have
I had a breakdown of it, and I don't want to be wrong, but I could have sworn it's very minimal, y'all. It's pennies.
Literally.
And I don't want to misquote myself, but I remember seeing it, and it's minimum, y'all. You know how many streams you got to get to see $100,000? Like, it's crazy. It's crazy, bro. Unless you out there.
I did an episode once before, and I spoke about that. And I had, if I was thinking, I would have brought it up. I would have brought, I would have had the breakdown, because I found it somewhere, and I'm like, y'all gotta be kidding me, right, Marchette? The producers don't get much either. Please, 'cause
Um,
all that money has to be split.
them split sheets got to come out. Them split
So
sheets got
for
to
those
come
who
out.
may not know, explain what is a split sheet.
Well, me and Roberto collaborating on the song. You're right. I'm a writer. Producer sitting in there. He got some contribute to it. There's some person got to contribute. That's split sheet. That's some 20%, 30%, 10%, 5%. You got to split that. You got to, and then the record company gonna get theirs. You got to split that. You know what I'm saying? If me and Roberta is in there and I'm the producer and she the writer, then we got to split that. We gonna agree up on a number. She's a writer, I'm a writer, but I'm also a producer too. So automatically, I want a little more. Because I'm writing and producing on it. I want a little more. So let Roberta, hey, let's do a 60-40. Let's do a 55, whatever. So
And
we got
there's only 2 people involved.
yeah. You
So
got
imagine
you
what
got 4
happens.
or 5 people on that.
Exactly.
You got to break it down, So a lot of people get in there and they don't understand the terminology. You have to educate yourself. Go to a library, get you a book on music theory, the business, the what it is. It's Music Business for Dummies. Go get that book. Read that book. There's some very useful information in that book because if you don't know, you will get screwed in this business. It's like dealing with the mob. It's like going to Vegas and making a bet. You're gambling. You know what I'm saying? So you have to learn, man. If you don't learn, you will not know, and you will be on the other side of the table wondering where my money went.
Right.
Like let's for example, you got Diddy. Diddy now all of a sudden, since all this stuff that came out on him, he want to give people their masters back. But if none of this stuff would have came out, he'd have still been holding on to Macy's publishing. He'd have been, his masters. He'd have been holding on to this. He'd have been, but it took something like this because all of his friends that they falling off from him. So you get the way you make money is you have to collaborate. You have to contribute to your project. You have to contribute somewhere. I could write a song. I could add one lyric in the song. One, not even a lyric, a word. You might want to say I could say at. I contribute. You understand what I'm saying?
It's true.
So you have to contribute. If you don't contribute, if you don't put nothing into it, how you expect to get something out of it? The only way you're gonna really make your money is you're gonna have to go out there and work for it. Shows, things of that nature. Now, honestly, to make money these days, you have to go and do these shows because you ain't gonna make it on streaming.
Exactly.
You need to go do shows. Even though streaming is giving the artists upper hand on the record companies, still not getting a whole lot of money. You got to be someone like a Beyonce or Taylor Swift, all these people, to be making that bread like that. You got to have a Beehive and a Swifties and all this behind you. You know what I'm saying? And they're still
not even them. They're not even making as. That's why they're having to do all these tours and everything. They're not even making all of this money off the streams.
Beyonce became a billionaire, a millionaire because she travels and sell out stadiums and stuff, and she's always on the road. Everywhere she
had
goes,
to build that from youth.
She done came a long way from Destiny's Child.
And that's why I believe, and I'm honestly, people can say what they want about her. She is between her and Jay-Z together, they are a powerhouse. Like they have such awesome business minds.
Girl is smart. They're smart.
Seriously,
they're beyond smart.
You see all the things that she's doing now.
Roberta, she's debuted number 1 on the country charts. Number 1.
I love what she's doing.
She done crossed over the country, and now she dominated the country charts.
I'm telling you. And the crazy thing about it is, I am no Beehive member. I am no Beehive member, but I respect a businesswoman. I respect
the dynasty. The dynasty.
Man, I have to respect her business moves, honestly, because one, I like what she's doing as far as taking over so many other industries. She's not just setting up her, her own self, because she's good.
Her children.
But she has her kids that she's trying to,
My
Jay Z
children.
even mentioned it in his listen. Get the clean version if you have to.
Titus,
That
if you listening,
444,
Titus, if you listening, Titus is a Jay-Z fanatic. Titus, if
listen,
you listening,
let me tell you, you will find some real nuggets in Jay-Z's 444. Honestly and truly, if you want, get the clean version if you have to, but if you actually pay attention to what he was talking about, that's the most realest music Jay-Z has ever created.
yeah, Jay's a beast. Jay's a beast. Somebody in the chat said, "Where did Beyonce get those scents from?" So I'm gonna let you know her mama from Louisiana, her daddy from Bama. So she got some country. She got some country parents. You know, she
Yes,
got Louisiana roots. Her mom Tina Knowles is from Louisiana, so she got some country roots. But I think a lot of it though also came from Jay's street mentality.
Yep.
I'm
That's why I
telling
said
you.
them two together are a powerhouse.
Yeah, a lot of what she got came from his street mentality. Jay, but I love what Jay did. He done what he did in his earlier career. Everybody know what he did. But he took that, brought it over here, quadrupled it,
Yep.
and blew it up. And he left that over there.
Which
so you can't
is the goal.
You cannot do what you're doing over here, bring it over here, capitalize off of what you did over there, but continue to do it over here.
Thank you.
You can't do that.
Thank you.
You gotta let that go.
Thank
and
you.
Jay know at this juncture in his career, in his life, he has to let that stay in the review. There's no need for that anymore.
Exactly.
There's no need for
You
that.
got to keep that poverty mentality where it was, because the thing is, what he was doing, and I mentioned it, I forgot what it was. Because I've been doing this thing on Instagram called 29 Ways to Work the Dream for the month of Black History Month. And one of the things yes, Marchette. One of the things that I have been mentioning, that I mentioned, is I understand, that when you are, when you're doing what you can, if you have to do, if you got to do illegal stuff, or you feel like you need to do things illegally in order to make it. But now you've got, you have what it is that that you were working for.
Yeah.
And you can take that, especially with these rappers and with these artists that are glorifying selling drugs and all of that, this, that, the third. This is what I'm not saying don't tell your story.
Right.
I'm not saying don't tell your story. What I'm saying is, this is what I did. This is what I felt like I needed to do. Now that I have the goal, I've made the money. Yep. I'm going to take what I did and no longer do that. I'm going to go, like you said, move it over here.
Move it over here.
I'm going to make some investments. I'm going to buy back the block, as PJ Morton says. I'm going to raise the community. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Teach the youth.
Yep.
That's what's necessary. That's what
you know who I really and Marchetta mentioned it. 50 Cent. 50 Cent. 50 Cent.
I like him, but I respect him.
50, well, 50 have always been a troll. He's always trolled everybody in the industry from when he did How to Rob, when he was talking about everybody in the industry, But I applaud what he did, because 50 actually brought some employment opportunities to my state.
Nice.
He opened up a big studio in Shreveport, Louisiana, G-Unit Studios in Shreveport.
Nice.
So I applaud what he's done, but he's also one like a Jay, street mentality, come from the streets, did what you did, took that over here, brought it over here, flipped it a couple of times. And now look at him. He's running stars. He's running TV right now. I don't care nobody. 50 got some of the best shows on TV right now. I'm a fan of everything 50 put out as far as TV. His ABC For Life. I love that show, For Life, when it was on ABC. He has the BMF series. He has the Power Universe. He has all this stuff. And then also what I love what Fifth doing, if Fifth is taking these quote unquote underpaid movie actors, stars like the Moniques and the Taraji P that's not getting their just due from these other moguls, come over here. I'm gonna pay you your worth.
That's it.
So, and I love that, and I also love Fit because they take him and Jay. They take in artists, independent artists, and giving them some because I feel like, and this is another thing. We get back to the music part. We have a lot of independent artists out here that deserves to be on the major platform.
Absolutely.
Because we got a lot of major people that don't need to be on nobody's platform.
What you said.
you know.
What you said.
But you know, I applaud that, and I applaud things like the Praise Fest where we spotlight indie artists. I applaud the Spin Awards and Minstrel Appointed for honoring people that play the gospel, that played the indie artists, because a lot of this junk we got out here now
is exactly that, junk.
Excuse me.
And
But
it
yeah, a
all
lot of this,
sounds, it all everybody sounds the same. And we didn't even get into like the award shows and
we could look
man.
whenever you're ready. You can bring me back, because I could talk about that too.
No, real talk. We might actually have to. We might have. We're gonna have to have a part 2 about that, like because we didn't even get into the full business side.
Yeah, you can have a part 2. I'm good. You family.
Real talk,
You family. I got
honestly,
you.
and I'm not kidding. I'm not
No,
kidding.
you family. I got you. We can always come back.
Because there's a lot that
It's a lot, man. It's a lot, and if you are an independent artist and you have music, you can email me, and I will get your music played, because I run a radio
Okay,
station.
so while we're there, because we about to wrap up, because we have to, not because I want to, but because we're at time capacity. I wanted you to what I want you to do is I want you to give. We didn't even get into the game, which is fine.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
I want you to give those who are aspiring, those who have been in the music industry for a while but don't seem to be getting anywhere, just words of encouragement.
Don't give up.
Or advice or things. And while you do that, I'm gonna have your information scrolling on the bottom. Y'all hit him up. Like he said that he's a music manager. So if anybody who's an artist or an upcoming artist, or you want, to have you want to get in this thing and do it right, this is your man. So
yeah. So guys, if you out there, man, and you trying to make it in this industry, man, then one thing I didn't do is I didn't give up. I kept pushing, but I also educated myself. Get to your local library. You ain't have to go to the library, man. Go online. YouTube it. Google it. You can go just learn the business side of it. Just learn it. Just learn the ins and outs. What you need, first of all, learn the business, learn the language, learn the lingo. Learn it. So when you're sitting in front of these people and they speaking all this, I call it doctor talk. You know what they're talking about. Don't give up. Build your team. Today is set up to where you can succeed on your own, and you don't need to have this one and that one. You could do it on your own with a computer and a clicker, a mouse. Get on here and do your work. Don't give up. Build you a solid team. Get you a marketing strategy together, and just work at it. Don't give up. Use your money wisely. Don't jump on the first thing you see. If you want to go to there's a platform called United Artists. That's another one. You got your DistroKids. You got all this stuff. You got your CD Baby, your TuneCores. You're your own company, and you're using them to distribute for a little small percentage. But you don't have to go to sign these big companies. Don't let nobody tell you need that. You just got to have that grind and hustle and bustle in you, and you can make it done. I mean, you can get it done. That's it. But I would say, Roberta, first and foremost, learn the business side of things before you dive into this, because this water is full of sharks.
Yeah.
Learn the business.
Yeah.
And then start to gradually move. Shannon and I say he's a sound engineer too. So you're steady move, move. Don't just jump in there head first and you can't swim. Get you a little floaty and learn the steps. Get you on a little tube and get in there, and then you get in that water and you tread that water. That's what I would do. That's my advice. And if I would have knew that early on in my career, then I wouldn't have got screwed. That's what made me want to learn this, because I was locked down. Even though the man that put the record out, we were locked down. I couldn't get out the contract, even though, and the crazy part about it is the only way I got out the contract eventually when I was 3 years in, because I didn't really sign my name. I was the only guy in the group that had a job. They signed my name for me. I gave them permission to sign my name.
Wow.
So that's how I was able to get out the contract. Yeah. So,
wow.
But yeah. Yep. Yeah. Learn
Y'all,
the business. Learn the business, y'all. Yeah. That's what I would do.
that's it. That's it right there. That's and all of the information is readily available. Like you said, there's books that you can read, there's
Yep.
YouTube videos that you can stream, there's a lot of different you can Google certain information, do your own research. And I'll even say this, just because it's something that came to mind, because there may be those who are working in industries that they are really not, it's not their love, it's not their first love, they're just doing it just so that they can get by.
Mm-hmm.
Make the time. Make the time to do what it is. And this may be music, this may be acting, this may be whatever. Make the time. When I say take the time, because sometimes if you wait until you have time, then you won't. But try to make the time every day, even if it's like 5-10 minutes, to work on something that you really, really want to do.
Yep.
Make and daily. Make it a minimum. Make a very minimal goal of like maybe reading, like one of the books that you mentioned, or watching a YouTube video. And when I say like reading a book, maybe just make a goal of reading, because there are people who work, 12-hour shifts a day.
Yep.
Okay, have a
Yep.
bathroom break. Take a book
Yep.
with you
Yep.
while you're sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
Read, a couple of pages or something.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And Shannon and I said, network with the people who know the industry and understands the hustle.
That's it. That's good, Shauna. That's good. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. And
That's
those
exactly
who
right.
are in the industry, do not gatekeep, please. Like those because those.
That's
like,
where the block comes in, and that's where the roadblocks are. The gatekeepers that's preventing you from getting through the gate.
Right.
It's a lot of them.
And that's why I appreciate you, Big E, because what you're doing, I mean, even right this moment, even this little segment right here, to take a minute to talk to those who have the heart to do what they love, as far as music goes, you're giving the information that's needed, that it can be done.
Yeah,
It
definitely
absolutely
can
can
be done.
done.
It can be
All
done.
right.
There ain't no doubt about it. It can be done.
Man, like I said, we're gonna have to bring you back. Really, we really are, because we about to go into.
Anytime.
So everybody, thank y'all so much for tuning into another episode of Speaking Plain English. Big E, thank you so much for taking the time to join us and chat with us today. Like
Yes,
I
ma'am.
said, you'll definitely be back. You're gonna have to be back.
Yeah, just let me know. Shannon, make that happen, yeah.
All right, y'all. Until next time.
Thank y'all for having me.